What's going on, people? So, 2023, right? I just took a moment to go through this whole top 10 thing, talking about a little bit of these right here, this was in there and whatnot. Just, I had never done that top 10 video or whatever for the last year, and thought, let me go ahead and do that while I got some free time or whatever, because I'm just about through the whole shoe thing, which is cool, because it's nice to get that out of the way, right? Then I can do some of the more entertaining videos, at least from my perspective, right? The wrestling things, the figure things, that sort of thing. I had a bunch of Roosevelt shirts over there, right? So either way, but while I was taking the time to, look over 2023 happenings, I was thinking about like some of the bands and shows that I've been to, because I go to a lot of concerts. I don't know if people know that or whatever, but it's a thing that I do to pass the time. It doesn't super show on the site or on the channel, because I'll post like a video here and there, but it's other than the shirts, I don't think anybody really knows that. But that's probably like my number one thing I do with my time, honestly. And I thought maybe I should take some time and go back over my top 10 favorite shows that I went to last year, because, why not, right? Give me something to talk about that I actually care to talk about. Kill some time, right? Maybe start a conversation or two with somebody out there. These are not in order. Much like the video about the shoe thing, right? Actually, these are mildly relevant. Remember these? This, if I do one of these next year, this will definitely be in there. The Hello Rockview tour came through in March, and I was there, front and center, right? But either way, so I'm gonna sit here, talk about these shows as they happened in order of, chronological things, right? Not how much I like them or whatever. So let's just go ahead and knock this thing out, right? First off, right, there was, and I have this right here, I'm harnessing the power of the Ocho, the Note 8, right? Actually, no, excuse me. This is the Ultra, the 10. So the Ocho is over there. First off, Flogging Molly was in here with, that had to be a Valentine's Day show. I just remember that because it's easy to remember stuff like that. Flogging Molly is their headlining show, but they had Anti-Flag, which is where I got this shirt, and Skinny Lister, right? I've been an Anti-Flag for like forever, like 2004, so a good 20 years at this point as of right now. Flogging Molly, not long after that. Skinny Lister since maybe like early 2010, something, whenever I first saw them at Warped Tour. So when I saw that show come around, I was like, I'm going to this. Tickets sold out super fast, unfortunately, before I could get one or whatever. Well, initially they were sold out or something, but either way, I was like, man, I'm going to have to go all the way to Richmond for this show, because they were playing 2 nights in a row, here, then there. But things worked out. I was able to get a ticket for this one here. And man, it was totally worth it. I kind of hate sold out shows because there's like people everywhere, but I haven't seen Skinny Lister since like a show in London in like 2013 or 14, because back in a previous life. And then Anti-Flag I had just seen, I think the end of 2022. They played their own show. And Flogging Molly not in a while either, right? So it was cool seeing all these bands that I like a lot all in the one show. It's very cool, kind of like a festival sort of situation, which I'll talk about a couple of those in a minute here. Up next, Turquoise Jeep. Right now, some of you might know the name. If you don't, you probably know the videos. I saw that they were coming around to Richmond, and I was like, you know what? I need to be there for this. Like, this needs to happen. I could barely find the place. It was like this little easy to miss little club or whatever they were playing in, but man, it was a good time. It was a good time. They played all the hits, or at least all the songs that I wanted to hear, so that was cool. And it was just a fun atmosphere. So I liked it a lot, Hopefully, I see them again at some point. That'd be cool. There's some guys that aren't really playing with them anymore or whatever. That would have been cool for them to be there, but I get it. People fall in and out of favor with each other. It is what it is, right? Moving along. Unwritten Law. I remember seeing that one at the old Bunker Brew Pub, which is a place that I'm not a huge fan of, but I did see Twisted there a while back. So either way, I saw Unwritten Law once. Back when I first started living in Georgia, they played at the it was either the Tabernacle or the Roxy? I can't really remember. But they played there. It was with Sum 41, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, these guys are really good, I'll just catch them again sometime. This was like 2005. And then I never saw them again. Like, they would kind of come around and leave for several years and not really do music or whatever. So when I saw that they were coming around, I was like, okay, I'm going to be at this. And you know what? Like, you never know what you're gonna get when people like are out of the scene for a little while or whatever, as far as like regular touring. If it's gonna be still good, or are they out there just kind of trying to skate by and get money for just showing up? Well, they were really good that night. I was pretty impressed, you know? So that was a good time because, again, I've been waiting on it for so long, and I was prepared for it to be possibly terrible, to be completely honest. But then when it wasn't, I was like, yeah, this is all right. It's kind of like that whole Puddle of Mud show, which I think it was also last year, but that one, from no fault of the dude, like the sound was just not good that night, you know? So whatever. Silverstein is up next. I like that band a whole lot, right? Like they're kind of like that one of those post-hardcore things, you know? And I haven't really listened to their most recent album, or maybe recent two. I honestly don't remember. But the previous like 5 or 6 or something like that before that, super into it. So when they come around, you know, I'm always like, oh man, I'm gonna be there for this, right? So that happened. I think they played with Beartooth and somebody else. I can't remember who else it was, but the Beartooth was pretty good too, from what I recall. But I was there for that. It was a good time. They played, you know, a lot of the songs that I wanted to hear. A couple of new ones that I had not heard before, because again, I hadn't heard those 1 or 2 most recent albums. But even the stuff that I didn't know was good, and I was like, okay, well, you know what? This is probably something that would be worth listening to, which kind of just need to go back and do that, you know? Moving on from there, back to the Bunker Brew Pub for Mad Caddies. That Silverstein show was at the Norva, in case anybody's curious. So, the Mad Caddies. I first heard about them in the mid 2000s, maybe like 08-ish, possibly, maybe 07, something like that. One of those ska bands, you know. And they were on some Warped Tour albums, things of that nature, right? I can't remember what song they had on there. I can hear it in my head, but I can't think of the name of the song. But I thought, okay, I'll see these guys at some point, because there's a lot of ska bands always touring, the Streetlight Manifestos, the Real Big Fishes, the Less Than Jakes, right? I'll catch them with one of these guys at some point, or maybe one of these Warped Tours, perhaps. No, not at all. I had never seen them until last year. And much like I said with the Unwritten Law thing, I'm thinking like, how's this gonna go? Fantastic. That's how it went, and I was like really into it. And I think Jack Move also played that night, which is like a local band, but you know they're really good too. But yeah, I'd waited all that time, didn't know what I was walking into, only somewhat familiar with 1, maybe 2 of their albums, but yeah, it was a really good time. And one thing that, even though I don't like going all the way out to that particular venue, it's a really good setup for small shows though, so it's kind of like pros and cons to it, but you know, whatever. I also got my car towed there once, but you know, more on that another time. So after that, the Virginia Beach Amphitheater, I forget what it's called exactly now, but Matchbox 20 was playing there. Originally I bought tickets because the Wallflowers was going to open for them. I was like, okay, this is 2 bands that I've wanted to see for a while. I'm doing that. I'm going to get another ticket too. Maybe a friend of mine will want to go. Lots of times for stuff like that, I'll get 2 tickets because I figure I'll probably find somebody who cares to go and sit through this with me. So yeah, we were all excited. Gonna go see the Wallflowers. Gonna see Matchbox 20. Delays and delays and delays happened. Wallflowers couldn't make it. Replaced with Matt Nathanson. Not a terrible musician or anything, but not the Wallflowers either. So I was like, well, that's not ideal, but whatever. I know some of his songs from like the American Pie album or something, and I think I have American Wedding, that is. And I think I have one of his albums. Yeah, I do. So he's not bad. It's just like, again, sometimes you want something else. But Matchbox 20, like, they over-delivered to make up for that. So I was listening to that, and I'm like, man, I know a lot of these songs. Because I know I like the band, but sometimes you see them in person, and then you realize, like, I like these guys a lot, apparently. Same thing happened when I saw Bon Jovi and what's that other band? 3 Doors Down, right? Apparently I like them a lot more than I thought. Because I know a lot of their stuff. But halfway through, like, the Matchbox 20 set, they had this, they're singing, doing a little acoustic thing, and the dude's like, wait, what? What's going on? I'm thinking, like, who's this dude talking to? You know, something in the ear going on. So, oh, guys, like, we gotta shut the show down, because like, it's like lightning or something. So they shut the show down, and I'm like, great. Like around here, you never know how it's gonna go. They might have had to just shut it down and like stop, or what? Are they gonna like refund this and we get to like come back later for another show? What's happening? But we sat there for like 20, 30 minutes during all this lightning and stuff that was somewhere. And eventually they brought the show back on, and to make up for that, they just played that much longer. So instead of cutting songs out of the set, they just left it all in and just played deeper into the night, which was a pretty cool thing. I was like surprised in some ways, you know, but good times. Also, in that same venue, Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper, the Freaks on Parade tour. I've seen Rob Zombie a couple times, and I know that that's a good time going into it, so I got what I expected. I like a lot of the songs. I like the visual thing that he has going on. It's something to do, right? But the Alice Cooper, that was new to me. And that dude is really good for someone who's like dinosaur age, right? That dude is freaking old. Like, they would show close-up of his face, you know? And I'm like, man, this guy could go at any moment here. But he's running around, he's going through all these like wardrobe changes, singing these songs and stuff. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty impressive, right? I'm not gonna lie to you people. I was like, this is something to see. So I think they're still doing the tour, like another leg of it somewhere else or whatever. But if that's an option for you, consider looking into it because it's a good time. And then from there, also still in Virginia Beach, but not at the same place. This was one of those free shows they do on the weekends. On this particular night, in one park, they had Streetlight Manifesto playing with Jack Move, as I mentioned before. And a couple blocks away, if you walked south, you could have caught Lit. I did catch both of them, but only Streetlight Manifesto made this list. Because Streetlight Manifesto is freaking awesome. I've been seeing them for so long, right? I would have to say I've probably seen them at least 15 to 20 times, like easily, right? Because again, all the Warped Tours, and they were touring heavy for like a long time. They're actually coming to the Norva in a couple months, so I'll be there for that. So I saw them coming around here, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to that. Whatever else could be possibly going on, I will get out of it, because this needs to happen. So, and I even made a comment to them saying, hey, you guys should come back here. And then they're like, yeah, we'll have to see about it. I was like, which seemed like a canned response, honestly. But then they did it. I'm like, maybe this is on me. Maybe I made this happen. I'm going to take credit for it anyway until somebody tells me that I didn't. But anyway, it was a good time. And on the downside of it, though, I want to say it was the trumpet player, Matthew Stewart, right? He passed away like days after that show. And it was weird seeing like that was the last show with him. And I'm like, well, that's kind of a downer because I don't know all the people in the band, but you recognize them after seeing them for 20 years, right? So it's kind of a sad time in a way, but you know, I mean, it was good, the show, but it just sucks how that happened, right? So mixed memories on that one. Not mixed memories on this Alkaline Trio show that happened not too long later, back at the Norva. I have been so into that band for like so long. Years ago, I went to Colorado, right? Denver, Colorado. They did 4 nights, right? It was 2 albums each night, 8 albums altogether. It's like the Past Lives tour, and that was one of the best times I've ever had. It was rough on the body, right? Because you're in the pits and stuff, and it's like, it takes a lot out of you. But I had a really good time doing that, you know? So, and that wasn't even like my first time seeing them. I'd seen them a couple times back in the England days. I'd seen them when I previously lived over here. I think they were one of the first shows that I went to when I moved to Georgia. You know, they played with the Alkaline Trio, and in some places, Escape the Fate. I don't remember if they were there that night. Reggie and the Full Effect was. I remember that because they're awful. So that stands out. But either way, this particular show, I can't say that I remember a whole lot about it specifically, but I'm a big fan of all their music, all the albums that they put out. I haven't listened to like Blood and Eyeballs or whatever the most recent one is just yet, but it was a good time. I'm sure of it. And also on that same note, the guitarist, Matt Skiba, he was the guy filling in on Blink-182 for Tom DeLonge, right? When he was off doing alien stuff or whatever. And when I saw Blink-182 last year, who sadly didn't make this list, neither did Paramore though. But when I saw Blink-182 last year, I was wondering if they would play any of the songs that from the Matt era, and they did, and I was super into that. Because when I saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers, they didn't play anything from the Josh Klingenhofer era, which was unfortunate because that had some good songs in it. But either way, Alkaline Trio, fantastic time. Closing things out with a band that I saw 3 times in my life, right? Once back in 06, this is the Bouncing Souls we're talking about. Once like in 06, once in London at, was it no, not the Underworld, I can't remember the name of that band, or the name of that venue. Somewhere down in London that I didn't go very often, but I think I saw Medina Lake there. And then this recent time, right? And so it was like a split of just about 10 years each time. And they didn't skip a beat, man. Like, they were old when I heard about them. They're significantly older now, but it still went over like super well. So I was really into it, having a good time. They're playing all these songs that I remember from years ago. Some of them that I forgot, some that are completely new to me. So I liked that a fair amount. So there you go, Bouncing Souls. Now one thing, just to close things up, I mentioned festivals earlier. So that's the whole top 10. Now I'm just kind of rambling about some stuff, which is all rambling, honestly. So the Supernova Festival is a ska festival that came through here. That was a really good time, minus like, I got some, not health problems. I don't want to make it sound like I'm dying, but allergies, like asthma, you know. I'm not really an outdoor kid, okay? It's not for me. So when I went to this festival, I was like, this could be okay or it could be terrible. It was freaking awful. I was like, I am not going to make it. This is how it ends. Right here in front of the toasters. But I'm going to die doing what I love, right? Well, I mean, not so dramatic, but it was a rough 3 days. But a good 3 days because I saw a lot of cool stuff happen. And then also, another one that was pretty good, Sad Summer. It was just a half-day show. But Taking Back Sunday was there. The Main, Paris, LS Dunes, which I didn't know was even a thing, but it had the guy from Circa Survive and Seosin in it, right? So that was a really good time because I got to see side projects of people that I like but didn't know existed. So that was kind of cool. And then one thing that was not cool, because I'll bring up something that I didn't like because I don't like everything. I went to see a Wild Nothing show last year. I heard a song, thought, well, that seems okay, right? Maybe it'll be like Ali and AJ, where it'll just end up being good. Or Poppy, right? No. I went, I watched it, and I was like, I want to leave. I don't want this in front of me anymore. I'm done with this. It's not getting any better. It's not awful, but I don't want it, right? But I stood it. I stood through the whole thing because, you know, otherwise you're wasting money in some ways. So I figured, I guess instead I'll just waste my time. I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up there. But it wasn't great, but I bring it up because, hey, sometimes things aren't great, right? But what was, and what was unexpected, Father John Misty. I didn't put him in the top 10 because I don't remember anything about the show. But what I do remember is not knowing this guy and only going because, kind of like that whole Wild Nothing thing, I heard some music of his. I was like, this could be fine. I went, and it was like really good. I was like, man, this guy is, it's got like some different types of music going on, and I was like, this is some high energy here and there. I was really into it. So yeah, we'll see what 2024 brings. I've already got a couple good ones under the belt or whatever, so that's cool, and a couple more to look forward to. Chili Peppers are coming next month. Looking forward to that, though unfortunately, I bought some tickets to see a TNA taping that same weekend, so that's money just wasted. But whatever, and there's some other stuff coming around. So there's that. For me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever is wherever you are. Thanks for sitting through this. For the 3 people that probably watched it, do appreciate it. Now I got something else to do, whatever's next on the list of videos to record. Later, people.